Welcome and happy Tuesday to our new show. It's the ConversionAMP Show. This is it was listed as a webinar, but it's not. It's a little more than a webinar. We're going to be doing this this show every other Tuesday at 2 p.m. And it's going to be really cool because we're really excited about ConversionAMP. It's a project we've been working on now for a good 2 years, and we've done a lot of testing with it. And to give you a very high level overview of it. By the way, my name is Dean, and I'll be hosting this show in case you don't know me. I'll be hosting it with my co-host, Rick, who is the ConversionAMP product manager. How are you, Rick?
I'm doing good. How's everybody doing today?
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And we're super excited, like I said, about ConversionAMP because it's a tool that we've created to pick up those notorious unconverted leads, and those unconverted leads can really result in a nice boost in your ROI. And there's nothing out there like this tool. It's uber packed, and that's why we're going to be doing this every 2 weeks, this show, for 30 minutes to an hour, depends on if we get questions and some feedback from you. Some of you guys are already using this, and if you are, awesome. If you're not, well, if you are using it, this is a great show for you because we're going to be over the months, each week, every other week, we're going to be diving in deep on all the really cool tools and what it can do for your business, from the very basic to the fully advanced. And if you're not using ConversionAMP already, you should get with your account manager and get started on it. And this show is really gonna dive in and show you the great benefits of it. I want to start off with a story on a real world example of ConversionAMP with one of our clients. We did this test as a beta test about a year ago when we just started introducing smart forms on the site and the chat feature. And this particular client is a plumber up in the Northeast, and they have a form on their website, which always blows my mind, right? We put forms on all of our clients' websites, and I myself, as a consumer of home services, plumbing and HVAC services, I would never use a form personally, because if I'm in need of this type of service, it's an emergency and I want to get someone on the phone right away. But lo and behold, there's a ton of people that submit forms for plumbers and HVAC people. And this particular client, the forms were going into an email box, and they weren't checking their email but once a day late in the afternoon. Well, unfortunately, when someone's needing a plumber, they're not going to wait. And so if they don't get an immediate response, what happens is it's a lost cause. It's a lost lead. And
okay.
And so
Middle is the middle. Okay.
I'm hearing feedback there. And so what happens is it's a lost lead, right? And so by the time 3 o'clock rolls around, the plumber went and contacted the client. Well, guess what? They're already using someone else, or they already contacted someone else. Someone contacted them back. Well, with ConversionAMP in place, the next week we were able to close 3 leads within the first couple of hours of that morning. So it's 3 leads they wouldn't have had that their competitor would have had. So it's a really cool system. And we're going to do a deep dive on some demos today. Rick's going to show us. But I think one of the biggest issues in the home service area is getting on the phone and answering the phones, right? I can't tell you how many times I have contacted a home service business, whether it be a plumber, HVAC, a paver guy, a fence guy, and I don't really get anyone on the phone the first time around, and it's frustrating. A lot of times it goes to voicemail, or if I do submit a form to schedule an appointment, I never hear back. And so these are situations where, I myself won't leave a message, and if I don't get an answer back on a form submission right away, I'm just not going to wait. And I think a lot of people are like that. We don't have a lot of time. I'm not the type of person that calls 5 plumbers out and goes, okay, I got all these quotes. I don't have time for that. I just want to make one phone call, get them on the phone, book the call, have the guy come out, service my house, pay it, and be done. And I think there's a lot of people like that as well. So I think ConversionAMP is going to be a great tool to pick up on some of that stuff. And so before I bring Rick and let him start his showing you some stuff, if you have any questions during our show, just go ahead and throw them in the chat box and we will answer them as soon as they come in. Rick, roll, take it away, man. Show us what this is all about.
All right, man. Thank you, Dean, for the handoff. Everybody, I want to kind of set the tone for this first and foremost. I want to have this a little bit interactive. As Dean said, if you have any questions, we're going to have a little bit of a Q&A session at the end. This today is kind of our pilot episode. So what we're going to do here today is just kind of show you what we've already have inside of the software, kind of show you what we're planning on doing in the future. And then from there, what we're going to do is answer any questions at the end. Now, before I go into the live demo that I'm going to do here in just a bit, I want everyone to is live right now to type live in the chat. And then for everyone on Facebook, if you guys want to check out the actual post, the Zoom link's in there so you guys can join in. We want to make sure that everyone can join, everyone can answer their questions. So jumping right into it, let me just share my screen really quickly. Okay, awesome. Can everybody, Dean, can you see my screen? Did I lose you? Dean, can you see my screen just to make sure everyone can see it?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I was about to say, can't hear you. Okay, so this is kind of our overall dashboard. This is how it looks. What I'm going to do is kind of run through what we call a smart form submission. So just as Dean was talking about, tons and tons of businesses have that contact us form. And 9 times out of 10, it goes into an email inbox and it just sits there and waits, collects dust, it goes into the abyss. By the time anybody who is responsible enough to go into there for it, gets into the inbox, actually checks it, does all that good stuff, what then ends up happening is it's an hour, 2 hours, or sometimes the next day. And what we found in the industry is if a lead is not followed up with within the first 5 minutes, they're on to your competitors. And what we've decided to do is create ConversionAMP to stop that from happening. And that's the key goal with this system. So what we're going to do over here in this is how our smart forms do look. Again, it's not as pretty as if it was on somebody's website, but unfortunately didn't have a demo site to kind of put it together. So essentially, we created this with the intent to get the most out of them for your front desk, for your CSR, to be able to get on the phone and reach them and actually get them into the system. So first and foremost, we're going to put the name. So I use my dummy as Jamie Jones. What we're then going to do is put Jamie's email inside. And then we're going to put their phone number, which is mine. And then just to kind of keep it short and simple, AC repair. Now we also have this to signify that eliminates the spamming, because a lot of people have systems where they just go in, fill out the form, and kind of hit you with marketing type things. So we put this feature here to eliminate that spamming. And once it submits, now it did redirect over to our page, but this is going to be essentially going to your thank you page, notifying them that, hey, your form was received. Now, if you guys can hear, I just received a text message on my phone. The text message actually is letting me, as the business owner, know, hey, somebody just submitted the form. So if I come down here to the conversations tab, as you can see, I'm getting a phone call now. This is the system actually giving me a call as the business owner. So what's happening right now is, because the form was submitted, 9 times out of 10, that lead still has their phone in their hand. So what the system is doing is trying to contact the business owner, the CSR, the front desk. What it's allowing them to do is connect with that lead right here, right now. Now, if the front desk individual is available, they're going to receive a call. That call is initiated with, hey, Jamie Jones just submitted a smart form, press 1 to connect now. If that front desk clicks 1, what then happens is the system contacts Jamie. And if Jamie picks up the phone, the two are connected and they're able to book the call right then and there. Now, in a perfect world, that happens 10 out of 10. As we all know, most people don't pick up the phone. So what then happens is if Jamie does not pick up that phone, or if the front desk is busy and unable to pick up the phone right there because they're assisting other customers, getting technicians, dispatch, things like that, what then happens is Jamie receives a voicemail. The voicemail is very short, sweet, and simple. We have a designated user that we use inside of ConversionAMP called Ashley. So now anytime that the message goes out, it's going to be coming from Ashley. So if I were to refresh this here, it should start coming in through here in just a bit. Now, once the information comes in and the voicemail and everything interacts, what then starts to happen is we start to get this here. So as the business owner, what happens is this transaction happens. So you receive all of these notifications. So you receive an email. Hi, Jamie Jones just submitted a smart form. Here's Jamie's email address. Here's her phone number. And here's the cause of her need. AC repair, leaky pipes, anything of the nature. They're able to have the free of putting whatever they need there. So at least when you're calling to book the appointment, you have an idea of what they're calling for, right? Now on Jamie's end, what Jamie received, she has the inbound call, which wasn't received. And then you guys have the voicemail. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
Hi, this is Ashley with Bob's Plumbing. We noticed that you reached out to us via the form on our site. I just wanted to follow up right away to see if you had any questions about our services, or if you'd like to schedule a service call. You can give me a call back at this number,
Very low.
222-2222, or send me a message via text. I look forward to connecting with you. Thank you.
Now, I do know that it was a little low. I apologize for that, but that's essentially what it is. And again, that is going to be replaced with your business number, your business name, right? Then what she receives as a text message, hey, Jamie, this is Ashley from Bob's Plumbing. Thank you for reaching out via the form on our site. Would you like to schedule a service call, yes or no? Now, because this is not a real email address, it did come up as unsuccessful, but the system allows you to know, hey, this is not a real email. Hey, this is not a real number. So you guys are not wasting time getting dead end numbers. So that's another feature in the system as well. Now, because I have the text message, I can come here to my phone, and if I respond back, sure, or great, or yes, anything of that, you're going to see it automatically come up here. And what then happens is you guys get sent out a booking link. Now we have a booking system built inside of ConversionAMP, but then there is the question of what about ServiceTitan? What about House Call Pro? What about all of these other dispatching systems? With most of those dispatching systems, you guys have what is called a booking widget, and that leads them to a link. With that widget, what we can do is input that link directly here. And what happens is that instead of going to our booking system, it goes to your ServiceTitan, it goes to your House Call Pro and any of those other softwares. And at that point, everything gets taken over by ServiceTitan, by House Call Pro, anything of that nature, right? Now, if I were to click this link here, it's going to take me to our booking widget. Now, if I were to book 3 p.m. on the 21st, select a date, I then put my information again, so Jamie. And then email. And then again, it's going to take them to their thank you page or your business thank you page, right? Now, at this point, I get another notification here, which lets Jamie know that, hey, we received your booking. Someone is going to contact you shortly to confirm the details. This feature right here stops us from having the double booking. Because case in point, if you already have, let's say already Wednesday at 3, there's somebody already booked for that. Now the CSR has the information to go in, hey, I see Jamie, you booked Wednesday at 3. Unfortunately, we have that already pre-booked. Can we move it to this time or can we move it to that time? And it opens a more engaging conversation versus trying to get Jamie on the phone, trying to get her interested, trying to get a technician out there. Jamie went through all these steps without any of your team members having to get on the call, having to do anything. She already pre-booked an appointment. And then as the business owner, you receive notifications every step of the way. So the first one I already showed you, which is they submitted the form with the information. Then the next one, once I replied as Jamie, you see Jamie Jones did reply back. Please follow him accordingly. In addition to that, Jamie booked the call right here. If you need to reschedule or to confirm it, here's Jamie's number. Now, also what we've done as well, not everyone's going to be glued to a desktop. So what we did create also was a mobile app that is available in Apple and in the Google Play Store. So all of these notifications are coming directly to your cell phone and you're getting notified every step of the way. Now, that's pretty much about it as far as the demo. If there's any questions, or Dean, do you think I missed anything?
No, I think that was a good overall demonstration of the very basics of what we can do with ConversionAMP.
Now, to stress what Dean just said as a basic form, that's what we have to offer. There's also a chat widget that can be installed on your site as well, and it can follow the same automation, the same booking as well. In addition, we're working on getting the GMB chat and the Facebook chat in here as well. Now, Google My Business is something that every home service industry business needs to have. And a lot of people are going to Google to number one, call, number one, to interact. So with that, we can actually have that all coming into the system and actually reply via chat with the Google My Business. And we're also working on a reputation management as well. So when it comes to having Google My Business reviews coming in here, Facebook reviews coming in here as well, you can actually have all of them managed and be able to respond. And just in case, if there is any disputes or anything that you need to do, maybe somebody's putting an invalid review, let's say via Google, you can actually dispute directly in the system as well. So that's going to be a key feature that we're going to be rolling out here very shortly as well.
And how cool would it be to, and I'm playing coy here, how cool would it be to stay in touch with your customers all throughout the year, right? So you service a home now, and I've had it happen, like get my air conditioned serviced, and I don't know when the next time it's going to need a checkup. It keeps me cool. And the only other time I think about my AC is when it doesn't keep me cool, which is usually in August in Florida. And the air conditioner always breaks in the summer. But wouldn't it be cool to have a system in place that we can set up touch points throughout the year?
Yeah, great question. Actually, what we can do inside of the system is once we get them into what we call the opportunities tab. I forgot to showcase this a little bit here, but what happens is when a smart form is submitted, what then happens is they come into here, and I'm not sure why it's not showing up here currently, but what happens is, here it goes right here, this one. Oh no, it's not showing up. Nonetheless, what happens is when a smart form is submitted, it then shows up here in this initial pipeline. Once a customer replies, what then happens, they end up here in this initial pipeline. And then if they do book an appointment, it automatically shows up here. Now, once you guys get them booked, and let's say the technician went out there, the job was created, what then you guys come into the system and do is put it here. Once someone is put here, we can set up an automation to where 30 days out, 60 days out, 2 months out, 6 months out, they receive notifications. So let's say 30 days from now, hey, it's time to change your AC filters. 30 days, 40 days from that, what then happens is, hey, it's getting into the springtime, it's getting into the winter time, it's getting into whatever time that's going to be more profitable for your business. Let's do an AC repair. Let's do a checkup. Let's do maintenance. It initiates them and it follows up for you. And then when the lead interacts back raising their hand saying that, hey, I'm interested in that maintenance program. Hey, I'm interested in that service. Hey, I'm interested in having your technician come back out. That's when you and your team is notified at that point to go into the system, start interacting, and start converting that leads. But essentially, you and your team don't have to worry about that follow-up. The system does it for you.
Yeah. So we can build out essentially a funnel for the entire year, throwing in special offers at the beginning of a season, or even selling service contracts. You know, I think the biggest fail that I see from a personal standpoint using contractors over the years in my house was I never hear back from them again once they do the service unless I have a problem. But as a homeowner, I would love to, have my plumber contact me, a couple times a year with an offer or a water heater service or something that's going to prolong the life of the things in my home. I think it would be a great touch point. There's so many times homeowners don't remember phone numbers. We hear this often. I don't want to, when we put tracking numbers on a website, like I don't want to change my number because everyone knows my phone number. I don't even know my wife's phone number. If I lose my cell phone I'm stuck on the side of the road, I'm spending the night in my car because I don't know anyone's phone number. So it would be, if a plumber comes to my house or a home service guy comes to my house and I may not need them for another couple of years, I'm not going to remember who they were. Maybe I will, probably won't. And I'll just go to Google and I'll search for the next one. But if I have my plumber or my HVAC or my electrician contacting me, a couple times a year or once a month or once a quarter, it would just open up so much opportunity. Then I can have them come in and I can have a service on my AC unit, or I can have a service on my water heater. These are things that you can set up in ConversionAMP, and just kind of staying in touch with them, very much like what we do at Plumber SEO, right? We have touch points with our clients. In the beginning, when we're marketing to them, we have sequences that go out. It's the same thing here. You should have a system in place that continues to market to clients and potential clients. And it would be even a great thing to build in a friends and family type of thing, right? Like, get referrals, to ask your particular clients for referrals on an ongoing basis by maybe offering a promotion or a Starbucks card or a discount for both you and your neighbor, something like that. But these are all types of things that we can do in ConversionAMP, right, Rick? That's the power of it.
Yeah, definitely 100%. And one of the other things I want to touch on as well is a lot of home service providers get leads from different lead vendors, such as there's Angie's, there's Home Advisor, there's Service Whales, and countless others. We can actually, Thumbtack's another one, great. With those lead sources, we can actually put all of them directly into the ConversionAMP system and actually delegate them and tag them so you guys know where they're coming from, what information they're getting, and we can actually pull information as well. So case in point, I actually have this one for Home Advisor, I believe. Now we call this process parsing leads. So this is Cindy. Cindy was actually pulled from Schedule Engine. Some people might be familiar with that, other people might not be, but I want you to kind of show in exactly what we pulled in. So this is her first and last name. Here's her phone number. Here's the pipeline that she's currently in. Here's her total lead value, and then here's the source that it came from. Now, one thing I want to pull out, we were actually able to pull all of the information directly from Schedule Engine via the lead. So here is the customer information. As you can see, here's her address right here. Here's the type, it's a web form. It's an estimation. It was handed off to the main office, and here's a summary of what happened. And then we were actually able to pull the entire conversation in. So here's the customer, meaning that's Cindy, and then here's the representative, which in this case was Peter. Now, this entire thing was able to be pulled in. And now if we were to go in and check out Cindy's information, we can see the first name, the last name. Here's a few other pieces of information. But one thing I want to point out as well, a lot of people want to make sure that the person that they're going to service is inside of their serviceable area, right? So here we have a little icon that actually, if you click it, it opens up Google Maps. So it allows you to see exactly where they are in real time, how far they are from your actual business. Are they in your serviceable area? Different things like that. So I think that's a really cool key feature that allow you to see exactly where these people are coming from, right?
There's
And
a
then,
ton of people that use Home Advisor and Thumbtack, and there's a ton of opportunity in those spaces. And just from talking to different clients over the years, the biggest problem with those services, they either love them or they hate them. There really is no in between, but it's like the biggest thing I hear is you got to be like this. You got to be on top of it. You got to be super fast, because once the lead goes out, it goes to 3 contractors, and the guy who's the fastest, or in this case, who might be the slowest, is going to answer that phone real quick. And this is a great opportunity, right, Rick, to jump on that lead within seconds and be that first contact.
yeah, definitely. As I said a little bit earlier in the demonstration, if you're not following up with the lead in the first 5 minutes, they're on the phone with one of your competitors. That's just statistics. That's what we found in the industry after 10 years of being in the plumbing and HVAC industry. In addition to that, you guys are typically spending hundreds of, if not a few $1,000s per month on marketing, whether it's from Google, whether it's from Facebook, whether it's from this Home Advisor, all of these different lead sources coming into one. And what we found is about 50 to 60% are go unconverted. So you guys are essentially only getting 40% worth of the money you're putting in. What we found was once we've implemented ConversionAMP, we've actually increased that from 40% up to 70%, which is a huge, significant jump. And that allows you to actually get everything in converted as well.
Yeah, that's huge. Absolutely.
Now I'm pretty
Any
sure.
questions at this point? Go ahead, Rick.
No, that's you. You already beat me to it, man.
Yeah. Any questions at this point? Ideas? Type them in the chat or yell them out. So what about the live chat? Like, live chat's a great tool. It's one of those things where it's that invisible salesperson who's on your website 24 hours a day. Someone comes to your website, they submit a chat. It's the same scenario with a form, right? It just goes off into the abyss after hours, because maybe you're only watching the chat for the working hours, or maybe you're up until at 10 o'clock, but maybe there's an emergency situation at 1 o'clock in the morning when these things tend to happen. Live chat's a great tool for that, or chat is a great tool for that. And if someone submits whenever I submit a chat form, it's like, where did it go? Because I never hear back. And when am I going to hear back? Talk a little bit about live chat or non-live chat in the ConversionAMP space.
Great question. As far as the chat widget goes, there's multiple ways we can set it up. But what we typically do is have a 2-window option, where the first one is during business operation hours. It allows you to submit the form. When it submits the form, it allows them to either check out your reviews, schedule a call, or contact your business directly. And then because it is during business hours, you guys receive notification. They receive notification. Someone's going to get back to them shortly. Now, what happens if they come after our business hours, right? What then happens is they receive kind of a different notification once they put in their information. What then happens is says, hey, unfortunately, it's after business hours. Someone's going to get back to you during this time. And it lets them know as business hours is here, but it also still gives them a sense of an automation feel where they're coming back and they're getting some sort of message back that, hey, it might be after business hours, but we did receive it. You are important to us, and we will be following up with you the next day.
Nice. We also have at Plumbing HVAC SEO, we have a service where we do a monthly newsletter for our clients. But sometimes we have clients who have a marketing team on staff who want to be more hands-on and maybe want to do more than a monthly email blast. Talk about some of the email marketing features in ConversionAMP and how, if you have a marketing team in place, or if you even want to do it yourself more than once a month, talk about the ability to build a template, send it out, all the kind of stuff that goes along with an internet marketing campaign, not in an automation process, from an automation standpoint, but from a weekly email marketing newsletter.
Great question. So a lot of people who are in that space probably heard of MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, a lot of these interactive builders. So we actually have that inside of ConversionAMP as well. If we were to come in here into emails, it actually has a full email builder in here. So what we can actually do is create a new one, and we have pre-built templates out for you, and kind of just show you this one as a little interactive one. So as you can see, there's automation in here. You can drag and drop different features, do different things inside of this. We can actually add a filter, add images, add text, different things like that. So we can actually help your marketing team create a full built out email that's branded to your business and actually tailor it and send it out directly to your list on a week-to-week basis, a month-to-month basis, whatever schedule that feels comfortable for you.
And how do we build a list?
Great question. Well, essentially for every person that visits your site, every person that fills out that form, every person that fills out that chat widget, all of them are asking to put their name, number, and email. That in turn builds this entire list and grows your overall contact list. So even if they're not converting, even if they're not scheduling calls with your technicians, they're still inside of the system. And then what we can do is actually kind of designate them into different quote unquote lists. So we can have a list for people who have already booked your services, people who have booked your services but might have canceled, might have been a no-show, things like that, or people who have just filled out the smart chat and never went anything further. And we can create different campaigns to target those people, maybe push to people who never scheduled a call to schedule a call, show them why we're trusted, why we're an industry leader in our area, why we're the person to go to when it comes to plumbing and HVAC. And for the people who have scheduled a call, we can set them up with, hey, how was the service? Did you like the technicians? We would appreciate it if you go on Yelp, Facebook, Google, leave us a review. And that increases your overall reviews when it comes to Google, and that overall helps your ranking, because the more reviews you have, the better you look on Google, right?
Yeah. I'm so impressed by, if I hire someone to come out and do a job at my home, I'm just so impressed. And I'm so impressed by when I get a text message or an email that the technician's on his way, or he's 5 minutes out. And when they leave, a thank you for the service. And then a day later or a couple of days later, a follow-up saying, hey, just wanted to follow up with you to see how the service went. Do you have any questions or any problems? And even asking me for a referral at that point. I'm so impressed when that happens to me. And I do this stuff. I know it's automated, but subconsciously, I still think, wow, they really care. And for customers who don't know about automations and things like that, your homeowners, it's just so impressive to have that stuff. It's very few that do that. And when you can do these basic little things and don't have to worry about it, it's all done with a tool. It just makes for a better customer experience. And when the customers have a better customer experience, they're touched upon every few months or so, they become customers for life. They're not really going to go anywhere else, because you're really doing that little bit more than any of the other competitors are doing. And it's all set up in a system like this. And you're picking up unconverted leads. You're following up with your customers. You're asking for online reviews. You're in total communication, and you're really not having to do anything. You're sending out a monthly or a weekly newsletter. And it doesn't have to be about a sale or a special. It's just doing something Maybe it's something in the community, or maybe it's an event that's happening that your company's sponsoring. It's always keeping your name out. That's what automation is all about, keeping your name out in front of customers and potential customers. From a referral standpoint, I mean, I don't know about you, Rick, but you always want to be that guy who knows everybody, right? When your neighbor comes to you, hey, do you know a guy? You want to be that guy who knows everybody. And if you're the business that's staying in front of the customer at all times, well, they become that guy. And if you do good service for them, you're going to see your referrals go up with a system like this. So there's different standpoints. The deeper you go into the system and you start spreading it longer or more, you're going to see a lot more benefits, not just picking up those unconverted leads. That's like the low hanging fruit. There's so much power in this system. And that's really what we're going to be diving into every other week. This is a very general presentation today on showing you everything that it does. And if you're a customer, using ConversionAMP already, you're going to love this, because every 2 weeks, this is going to be like a private training for you. We're going to go in depth, and we're going to get hands-on with some of these tools. And we're going to show you how powerful they are.
Yeah, no, and just to even second that even more, Dean, to kind of stress that even more, in the perfect world, we all wish that we can touch our clients on a day-to-day basis, make sure we're always staying in front of mind. But in reality, we do get overwhelmed with new jobs coming in. Service technicians may be out sick. You might have to have a CSR out sick, so on and so forth. And life happens, right?
Yeah.
And to always have it at the front of mind where, oh, I didn't follow up with Sally from Tuesday, or I didn't follow up with Jimmy from last week. Our minds are racing on a day-to-day basis, especially with new clients coming in, new calls coming in, new emails coming in every single day. The power to have, okay, let's with automation take them from one stage here to another stage, and that automatically puts them into a new sequence, automatically receiving the text messages, emails, the follow-ups, the touch points, following up, reminding them, hey, leave us a review on Yelp. Hey, leave us a review on Google. Hey, how was the job? Hey, we're just following up. Hey, it's time for another maintenance check. When is a good time for you to come up? All of this is done automatically, and that allows you to have revenue coming in to where you're unaware that that's coming in, and the whole system just repeats and repeats and repeats itself. And that's going to overall increase your overall just customer service experience, because at the end of the day, 90% of your customers are not going to know that this is automated. They're really going to have that feeling that someone is spending night and day following up with them, keeping in touch with them, sending them the reminders. And just to be able to give off that impression, you're going to be the Chick-fil-A of your area, right?
Yeah. I have another story here for you. This is I had a guy come to my house about, God, it's got to be 4 or 5 years already, to replace the gutters around my home. And I have like a courtyard house, and my pool's in the middle, and then I have the gutters in there. And what was happening is the water was coming off, and the sediment and all the junk from the roof falls into the area and clutters up the pool, and it made it look ugly, and had to resurface the pool because it was stained out. But so he went ahead and he installed these gutters, and that was it. He was the gutter guy, and that's great. And so how often do you need gutters? Probably not very often. It's been 5 years and they're still there. Maybe I could replace the ones in my backyard, because they're getting a little weird. But what seems like every 2 months, I get an email from the gutter guy. I open it up, I look at it, and he sends me these different tips. Occasionally he asks me for a referral, but it's maybe 20% of the time. It's 80% of the time he's giving me value. He's the gutter guy. He put gutters on my house 5 years ago. I wouldn't remember who he is if he didn't send me these messages every couple of months. Maybe it's once a quarter, I think it is. He sends out a little newsletter, but it's always something that is kind of related to the gutter, right? Have you had your roof cleaned? And what happens if you don't clean your roof? We have tiled roofs down here in South Florida. They tend to every 6 months or a year, they tend to get really filthy and dirty from the jets that fly over. And what happens is that falls into the gutter and it tends to clog up, and then it goes into the lawn and it ruins the lawn because you get spots on the lawn. So he sends me messages about, have you cleaned your roof, and have you, I guess he partnered with a power spray guy, so he hands off a lead to that guy. But the reason for the story is he's the gutter guy. If he didn't send me this, I have no idea who put the gutters on my house 5 years ago. But I know who his company is. I know his name because he's constantly pushing out information to me. And it's 20% of the time he's asking for a referral or to come out and look at my gutters. Maybe I need them cleaned. But 80% of the time he's giving me value. And these are things that if you do these things, and again, think about this. He's the gutter guy. How much information is there around gutters? Well, apparently there's a lot. But for plumbing and HVAC and electrical, my gosh, there's so much value that you can send to your customers to keep your name in front of them. And like I said, it's 80-20. It should be 80% value, 20% sales. So don't be sending out a coupon all the time. Send out value. The whole idea of an email newsletter, whether you're doing it outside of ConversionAMP or inside ConversionAMP, which we really want you to do, it's all about value. It's all about top of mind. It's not closing the sale right away. It's send out value, send out information that's related to your business, that keeps you top of mind, because it's going to come around and it's going to really pay off in the future. Don't worry about the immediate sale from a monthly newsletter or a weekly newsletter. Keep top of mind. That's what automation is all about. It's about top of mind, sending out value. And that's powerful, right? We can automate all of that in ConversionAMP, right, Rick?
Yeah, definitely. Even to stress that point even more, I mean, you're talking about staying top of mind, but even a deeper level to that, because he gets those newsletters. Dean, anytime somebody speaks about gutter issues or gutter problems, what's the first company you're going to think of?
Exactly.
And that sets you apart.
If he didn't send that stuff to me, I'd be like, yeah, I had this gutter guy come out. I found them on Home Advisor, by the way, which is even less of a connection between me and the customer, right? I didn't search them out on Google. I happened to find them on Home Advisor, and I never remember anybody I found on Home Advisor. But because he's constantly nurturing me, he's like, I think I've referred him 3 or 4 times over the year.
And then you guys have to think about how many book jobs is that. I mean, if we're not every day underneath the sun, we're going to get an AC replacement or AC installation. But if we were able to get 1 of those a quarter, 2 of those a quarter, just from referrals, no marketing, no Facebook spending, no ad spending, no nothing, just simple word of mouth. Word of mouth is still the most powerful marketing on the planet. It's never going to go away. And just being able to stay in front, be top of mind, and always be in front, and set you apart as the industry expert in your area and in your serviceable zone. So when everyone is thinking and kind of needing that issue, they might not need it. You might help them once and they might never be a repeat customer, but then they have their mother, their brother, their sister, their aunt, their uncle, their cousins, all of these people who will run into the same problems, and the number one name they're going to put is you.
Yeah, exactly. So we are at 42 minutes, and that's kind of where we want to keep the show at. Does anyone have any questions? If you do, type them in the chat box. I want to close out with a story. I'm full of stories. It's like, when being in this business, and I'm constantly on the lookout for great service experiences, right? It's like, again, like I said earlier, I don't have time to have 5 plumbers or 5 HVAC guys or 5 of any service come out and get the best price and go for it. I make a phone call. All I want is someone to answer the call right then and there. I don't want to call 5 plumbers or 5 gutter guys. I want someone to answer, book the call, come out on time, give me an estimate, and I say, boom, let's go for it. you kind of know more or less what things cost. And it's like, I'm not the type of guy who's going to be like, oh, this guy's $25 less, I'm going to go with him. It's like, I don't have time for that. And I think most people are like that. But it's just important to understand that and be the one who is constant contact with the clients. With that said, the story I have is not a home service story. Business is business, right? And it just seems like in today's world, business is getting worse and worse. From a customer service standpoint, the days of great customer service or great customer experience are out the door, and that's a great benefit for companies who can stay in front of their customers, stay on top of their customers, and who can give great service. In today's world, if you can just do that little thing that like show up on time, call before you're coming, and just do a follow-up, you're gold, right? You're gold. And that's all people want. So this is a situation where, so all businesses are the same, right? Whether it's McDonald's, Joe's Plumbing, Target, all business is the same. So I had a situation where summertime, my son plays travel soccer. If you have children and they're in travel sports, well, then you know how crazy we are. It seems like I'm always going to practices, always going to trainings. And what I wanted to do for the summer is I wanted to get him into a training facility so he can be ready for next season. He can have that edge. And so there's no downtime in travel sports. You play your season, and then summertime you train, rest, train, and start the new season. So I wanted him to be involved in a gym to get some conditioning during the summer months. So there's a big gym in the next city over that does a lot of training with pro athletes from the Dolphins and the pro soccer team we have down here. And they also do training for youth sports. So I went onto their website, and they're owned by a big name athlete. I'm not going to mention names, but I went onto their website and I couldn't find a telephone number. Of all things, I couldn't find a phone number. But what I did find was a big form right on the top of the website. And that's very much what we do for our clients' websites as well. As you look at your website today, you'll see a big contact form, contact points all over the site. You have a phone number up there because we did that because we're smart. They didn't have a telephone number. So I guess they didn't want to take phone calls. So I figured, okay, there's a form. I don't like to submit forms, but I'm going to submit forms. This form said, submit a form to make an appointment, come out to our facility. I went in, I filled out my information. It was very detailed. It was a pretty big form, which usually is not a good idea. But in this situation, to tour a facility and make an appointment, I went ahead and I did all that. So, and this is not a cheap transaction for them. I have friends that went there and I know what they charge. So I figured, boom, they're going to take this and I'm going to have contact within a couple minutes. Well, a couple minutes went by and submitted the form. I didn't hear anything. Okay, I'll wait a day. A day went by, I didn't hear anything. A couple of days went by and I forgot I submitted the form. I didn't hear back anything. So I ended up going somewhere else to another facility. About a week ago, which was 2 weeks after I submitted the form, I did get an email from them saying, hey, we got your information and want to make an appointment for you to come out and tour our facility. This is 2 weeks. Okay. This happens in all businesses, gutters, gyms, plumbers, HVAC guys. I moved on. I found another person to do it. And the same thing happens in your businesses. In this case, it's not usually a 2 week window. It could be a 1 hour window. So that's something to keep in mind. I replied. Normally I wouldn't reply, but because we have ConversionAMP, we don't sell to gyms, but I wanted them to know that, hey, this is not a good thing. I said, hey, I contacted you. That was 2 weeks ago. I already moved on. And they emailed me again and said, oh, sorry, we lost your email. Well, they didn't lose my email. They didn't look at their email inbox. I'm sure my contact was sitting there for 2 weeks. And that's unfortunate. If they would have had a system like ConversionAMP, guess what? They would have probably made a sale. And that's the same thing in plumbing and HVAC and electrical. But it's not a 2 week window. It's if the lead is coming from Home Advisor, it's a 30-second window. If the lead is coming from Google, it's about a 30-minute to maybe a 1-hour window. It's a smaller window in a much more competitive space. These are things that ConversionAMP will alleviate. And so when you, all of a sudden, those form submissions that kind of go into an email inbox and sit there because maybe a CSR doesn't have their email open, is not checking it all the time, that's when a tool like ConversionAMP can really add that extra 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50% leads that you might be missing out on. So that's something to think about. With that said, we want to sign off on this show. We went, I hope I didn't bore you with my stories. I'm full of stories. In 2 weeks, not next Tuesday, the Tuesday after, we're going to do a follow-up show, and we're going to episode 2, where we'll take a deep dive on one of the tools. And if you have any ideas on what you would like us to show or dig deeper into, we'll do that. We're going to go deeper into the email builder, and we're going to go deeper into the funnel system, and we're going to go deeper into the smart forms and the chat. And we're really going to get in depth in there. And the cool thing is, if you're the owner of the business, you probably don't want to do these things, and I don't blame you, because who has the time? But if you have marketing people in place, or you want a done for you service, we can do anything in that area. We can do it for you. You can have your marketing team on this show. We could show you some trainings. ConversionAMP is a uber cool tool that can really take your business to the next level. And I hope you see how powerful this is. Rick?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think it's going to be good. As Dean said a little bit earlier, this one is more of a general. We kind of talked a little bit, things like that. As the shows get more along, what we're going to do is just take a individual piece of it and do a deep dive into each and every one, all the possible different features, aspects, how you can apply it to your business, different features that we're going to offer you. Already have a few pre-built things that we can just kind of change your logo and go, that type of feel to it as well. So from this point forward, if you guys have any questions, I know it's streaming on the Facebook. If you guys have anything, post the comments below, what you want to learn, what was your favorite thing, what more do you want to learn about it, and I'll catch you guys in the next show. Thank you guys for the time.
So if you stayed on for the whole show, cool. If you didn't, and you want to see a recorded version of it, it's going to be on our YouTube channel. It's going to be on our Facebook page. It's going to be in the Engage group. So until our next show, we will see you then. And remember, convert those unconverted leads.